It's a compulsive behavior related to religious and moral issues, in particular sin. So let's suppose, like most of us can easily do, I committed something bad. I've committed a sin, I've committed an infraction, a moral transgression, and the devil brings us back to my memory, which he likes to do, to drive us away from God's mercy. And we entertain these thoughts that we have no control over. Why do I say we have no control over them? Because we did not put them there. Satan can enter the will and the intellect without our consent. He does it all the time. But it's up to us, once we're aware that this is not our thought, to do our best to fight it. Doesn't mean we will eradicate it just with the sheer act of a fiat. It means that we have to exercise repeatedly trust in God's mercy through prayer and through, the daily requirements of the church, the frequenting of the sacraments of confession, at least once a month, communion weekly, at least weekly, meditation, prayer, holy mortification, etc. So these scrupulous moments consist of persistent doubts that these transgressions, sins, moral infractions I've committed cannot be done away with, or that my effort is not good enough for God. And therefore, I'm always questioning myself and my status quo, my spiritual state right now. It's not pleasing to God. I'm never pleasing to God. No matter what I do, it doesn't meet the mark. It's not going to be happy. It's not going to meet happiness in God's eyes. So the person lives in doubt, insecurity, fear, and lack of trust in God's mercy. The little flower, Sainte Thérèse de Lisieux, suffered from this a lot. I suffered from this when I was a seminarian. And it's hard to identify because you don't know what it is unless someone, like I'm with you now, explaining it to you. No one sat down and said, look, Joe, this is what scrupulosity is. Avoid it in the religious life. Nobody told me that. I underwent it not knowing I was experiencing this when I was a seminarian. And what you do is, first and foremost, inform your mind with sound spiritual truths that come from the church. Now, that's the first part. That's not good enough. You have to then believe in those truths completely, not half-heartedly. And I hate to say this, but this is where a lot of the conservative individuals, that is, people who always question church teaching, I'm not using the word conservative in a bad sense here. Therefore, I should say ultra-conservative people that question the church's teaching, question the Pope's teaching, they question everything the church says. These people are the ones who suffer more of scrupulosity than others. These ultra-conservatives, because they do not trust anything. So they have to take everything in their own hands, say, I will decide whether it's pleasing to God or not. Now, when you do that, you know how it ends up? Nothing will ever be pleasing to God because it's in your hands. That's the problem. It's in your hands and you're imperfect. So you who are imperfect are trying to make something perfect. It's impossible. So you have to commit yourself blindly to a higher authority. So I'm not saying blindly obey everything that comes from every church authority, because there are conflicting messages given by different churches of church authority. Some are in schism, some are in communion with Rome, some are straddling between the two, and they move one week to the left, one week to the right. You can't trust these people. Either you're completely committed to God and his church or you're not. There's no in between. And this is where scrupulosity is born, from this wavering between, right, what the church teaches, what I think. And they follow what feeds scrupulosity are these blogs that attack the Vatican and the Pope, and they believe them. This only feeds scrupulosity even more. But again, the person, him or herself, initially is not to be blamed for these scrupulous thoughts, because they want to please God. You see, the effort is genuine behind it. They're erring on the side of caution. I do not want to assume anything I do is good unless I'm completely certain. This way, I'm not assuming anything with God, and that's okay. But after the church teaches you something, after the church makes it a doctrine, and then you still persist, now it becomes your fault. Now it becomes your fault. Before you didn't know, now you know. And this is what separates the good conservatives from the bad ultra-conservatives who do not want to walk side by side with the church and its moral teachings. Again, scrupulosity regards religious and moral obsessions, doctrines they don't want to accept, codes of conduct they do not want to abide by, etc. And here's a good thing to help ease the transition from scrupulosity to normalcy in the spiritual world. When you are told to do something by the church and you don't agree with it, and the church teaches that this is doctrine, once you accept that, even if you don't agree with it, you're no longer responsible for what you do in accepting that. The church takes the responsibility off your shoulders once you consent to the church. That's a beautiful thought. That means God will not hold you responsible anymore.